Obama in Moscow. Russians give him a cosmetic success. July 6, 2009, LPAC. Despite the fact that President Obama, from all accounts, approached his July 6 to 7 trip to Moscow from the standpoint of the narcissistic ego-maniac he is, the agreements achieved on that trip reflect his concession, however temporary, to the foreign policy directionality which has been established by the National Security Team led by Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, National Security Advisor James Jones, and Defense Secretary Robert Gates. The weeks leading up to this trip have seen the President more and more exposed as a bumbling incompetent on both the economy and foreign policy. Thus he was desperate to get a public relations victory if it meant that he had to go against his own policy. He was virtually forced to go in the direction of the Clinton-Jones approach, and there were clearly Russians in power who were smart enough to understand the situation and give him at least a cosmetic success. Of course, putting any of the positive elements into effect would require getting the President himself under control, which is the task we are intensively involved in. The most striking result was the agreement on Afghanistan, which features from top to bottom the centrality of the war against narcotics trafficking in the spirit which had been put forward by Viktor Ivanov and which the LaRouche movement had endorsed. The US military has already taken steps in the direction of this policy in the Afghan theater itself, despite the President's pro-drug predilections. The two presidents also signed an agreement on missile defense, which essentially calls for intensifying dialogue on establishing the Joint Data Exchange Center, which is to become the basis for a multilateral missile launch notification regime. This seems to postpone the direct conflict that was brewing on the issue on the eve of the Obama trip. Russia and the US also set up a Medvedev-Obama Commission, which will contain 13 task forces and work on long-term cooperation on various issues ranging from drugs to space to crime. Not surprisingly, the real work on the Commission is expected to be done by Secretary of State Clinton and Foreign Minister Lavrov. It was announced that Clinton would go to Moscow in the fall to work on specifics. That's the end of the full article. Caution, this information could be wrong. Question everything. Click more info to right of video screen for news link and article, and my playlist. Many YouTubes that play one after the other. When clicking play all below more info box. Playlists related are White Knight Confirmation News, US Military White Knight News, BRIC Countries Solve Dollar Collapse Using National Currency, and New World Order Standoff, and US dollar currency, US dollar gold-backed Benjamin Fulford. Please note I am constantly adding videos to these playlists as I find or make them. Find many more by clicking playlists at top in my channel, youtube.com/thankyouwhitenights. I never trust one source and always am looking for verification, so if you can prove or disprove, please send a personal message with checkable information, links, references. Condemnation without investigation is the height of ignorance. Albert Einstein.